ever found yourself endlessly delaying tasks, even when you know they're important? In an age of constant distractions and tempting comforts, it can feel almost impossible to stay on track. Yet, if you look at Buddhist monks, individuals who follow ancient teachings inspired by the Buddha, they maintain an extraordinary level of self-discipline and resilience. How do they do it? In this guide, we'll explore the principles monks use to conquer procrastination and cultivate unshakable discipline, and how you can adapt these strategies to transform your own life. Why we procrastinate. A Buddhist perspective. Procrastination doesn't stem from laziness alone. In Buddhism, the mind is often compared to a wild elephant, easily led astray by cravings and aversions. We delay tasks because part of us wants immediate comfort or fears potential discomfort. Buddha recognized that this tug-of-war between desire and avoidance is universal, so he devised teachings to harness the mind's wandering nature. One key insight is that procrastination arises from attachment to fleeting pleasures, like scrolling through social media, or to avoiding unpleasant feelings, like facing a difficult project. Monks address this by developing detachment, recognizing that short-lived urges shouldn't dictate long-term goals. They learn to see temptations and fears as passing clouds, not commands. This shift reframes how they respond to impulses, making it easier to dive into responsibilities rather than dodge them. For you, awareness is the first step. Notice when you're drawn to procrastinate. Maybe you spot a wave of boredom or the thrill of one more YouTube video. Then remind yourself, this is a momentary pull, not a mandate. By labeling these urges, you start to loosen their grip, laying the groundwork for disciplined action. Cultivating mindfulness. To break the cycle, monks rely heavily on mindfulness to keep procrastination at bay. This practice, paying calm, attentive focus to the present moment, helps them detect early signs of drifting away from their goals. Instead of blindly following the mind's every whim, they observe thoughts and feelings as they arise. If restlessness or avoidance shows up, they see it for what it is, a temporary mental state, and let it pass without acting on it. Translating this into daily life, you could begin each morning with a brief mindfulness session. Sit quietly, follow your breath, and let any arising thoughts move through your awareness. Notice what you're tempted to do. Check your phone, rearrange your desk for the 10th time, etc. But resist the urge to label these temptations as good or bad. Instead, see them as fleeting phenomena. Over time, this mental training clarifies which impulses actually serve your best interests and which merely delay progress. Mindfulness also helps with task immersion. When it's time to work on something, you commit to being present for that one activity, free from digital or mental scatter. If your mind wanders, you gently guide it back. This present moment anchor not only reduces procrastination, but also increases the quality of your output. Buddha often taught that true liberation begins when we master the mind's wavering nature, and conquering procrastination is a real-world example of that mastery. Embracing the middle way, avoiding extremes. Buddha's approach to life, known as the middle way, avoids extremes of indulgence and asceticism. Modern procrastinators often swing between all-or-nothing thinking. They might binge-watch TV for hours and then suddenly vow to work without breaks. Such extremes can lead to burnout or relapse into old habits. Monks strike a balance by scheduling consistent meditation, study, and chores without overloading themselves. This moderate approach respects human limits while steadily building self-discipline. Instead of punishing themselves for lapses, they focus on maintaining equilibrium. So if they become overly rigid, they dial back. And if they start to slack off, they tighten their routine. In practical terms, the middle way means setting realistic goals. If you've been procrastinating on a major project, you won't fix it by forcing yourself to work 10 hours straight each day. Instead, commit to a manageable block, maybe 2 hours of deep focus, followed by a short break. This measured routine helps you avoid the binge and crash cycle. By continuously fine-tuning your approach, you develop a sustainable rhythm that supports forward momentum without triggering emotional or mental exhaustion. The power of small steps. Monastic routines. Monks don't become disciplined overnight. They adhere to structured routines composed of small, repetitive tasks: waking before sunrise, performing morning chants, cleaning their living space, and meditating. These seemingly modest habits reinforce the habit of acting promptly rather than delaying. Over time, these small, consistent actions accumulate into a powerful momentum that monks harness throughout the day. How does this translate to overcoming procrastination? Let's say you're dreading a large assignment. Breaking it into smaller, concrete actions, like drafting an outline or gathering research, replicates the monk's approach. Instead of letting the enormity of the project intimidate you, you tackle bite-sized steps that are easier to begin. Each completed step fosters a sense of accomplishment and reduces the mental resistance to starting the next one. Moreover, these routines instill a sense of discipline beyond any single task. When you commit to a daily schedule, say 30 minutes of reading, 10 minutes of tidying, 15 minutes of meditation, you train your willpower like a muscle. Even on days you feel tired or unmotivated, the routine carries you through. Buddha taught that true freedom arises from doing what benefits you rather than what you merely feel like doing in the moment. By incorporating small daily disciplines, you align your actions with your deeper goals. Meditation for laser-sharp focus. One of the most potent tools monks use to stay on track is focused meditation. While mindfulness can be open-ended, allowing thoughts to come and go, focused meditation directs attention to a single object, often the breath or a mantra. In Buddhist temples, hours can be spent refining this discipline, noticing each time the mind veers off and gently steering it back. This honing of concentration is invaluable for battling procrastination. If your mind habitually leaps to social media or daydreams the moment you face a challenging task, you likely lack the mental muscle to hold attention where it needs to be. Focused meditation trains that muscle. The more you practice, the longer you can sustain concentration without craving a distraction. Try a short daily session. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Gradually increase as you improve. Pick a simple focal point, like slow, deep breathing, and remain with it. Each time your mind drifts, note the thought, maybe planning or worrying, and gently return to your chosen point. Over days and weeks, you'll find this skill transferring to your work or studies. Tasks once riddled with mental side trips become more straightforward as you guide your attention back whenever it wavers. With consistent effort, you'll find that focusing deeply on a project feels far more natural. Wisdom of impermanence, releasing fear of failure. Fear of failure underpins much of our procrastination. We delay projects because we dread not meeting standards, our own or others. Buddhism addresses this by teaching impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing stays the same. Monks internalize this truth to reduce anxiety around outcomes. A single misstep or setback does not define them. It's just another wave in the ongoing ocean of experience. By embracing impermanence, you realize that no success or failure is permanent. You also accept that your skills and circumstances evolve over time. This perspective strips away some of the dread attached to potential failure. With less fear, you're more inclined to start tasks immediately rather than postponing them indefinitely. Consider how much time you waste worrying about whether you'll produce a perfect piece of work. Instead of letting that fear paralyze you, adopt the monk's understanding. Each attempt, successful or not, is transient. Even if you fall short, you learn and adapt for next time. This realization can drastically reduce procrastination. When you stop treating tasks as pass or fail life events, you free yourself to focus on the process, ironically boosting your chances of success. Compassion for yourself, a surprising key to discipline. Monks are often seen as strictly self-disciplined, but their approach is underpinned by compassion, not just for others, but also for themselves. Buddha taught that harsh self-criticism can entrench us in negative cycles. When you label yourself a procrastinator or beat yourself up after a lapse, you create more stress, which can lead to more avoidance behavior. Compassion doesn't mean excusing harmful habits. It means recognizing that you're human, capable of growth, and worthy of patience. Monks apply this principle by acknowledging mistakes or lapses in discipline without sinking into shame. They refocus on the vow or routine at hand. Each day is a fresh opportunity to live in alignment with Buddhist principles. If you slip up, maybe you binge-watch shows instead of working. Don't dwell on guilt. Instead, ask what triggered the slip, then gently reaffirm your commitment to improving. This compassionate mindset fosters resilience. You'll find it easier to bounce back and stay motivated because you're not burdened by self-loathing. In practical terms, add a short daily check-in. What went well today? What can I try differently tomorrow? Keep it constructive, reaffirming that the path to discipline is a journey, not a sprint. Turning service and purpose into motivation. Another secret to monk-level discipline is purpose. Monks often dedicate themselves to higher ideals, such as alleviating suffering or guiding others on the path of enlightenment. This altruistic perspective provides deep motivation, making it easier to adhere to daily routines. Tasks aren't just chores, they're expressions of a larger mission. Translating this into your own life, think about how the tasks you procrastinate on might serve a bigger vision. Whether it's building a skill to help your community, improving your family's well-being, or even just growing into a stronger version of yourself, infuse your activities with purpose. If you remember why something matters, you'll be less likely to put it off. In Buddhism, the concept of right livelihood suggests that work isn't just about personal gain, but also about contributing positively to the world. When you see your tasks in this light, whether it's finishing a project that will uplift others or learning a new skill to be of service, you'll find an inner wellspring of motivation. The barrier of procrastination crumbles under the realization that your effort has meaning beyond immediate gratification. This synergy of discipline and purpose is exactly how monks stay focused, day after day, on their spiritual and communal commitments. Procrastination may feel insurmountable, but Buddha's teachings remind us that every action starts in the mind. By embracing mindfulness, realistic routines, compassionate self-talk, and a clear sense of purpose, you can transform your habits and build the discipline monks embody. Ready to reclaim your focus and finally tackle what you've been putting off? Share how you plan to begin in the comments. And if this resonated with you, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more insights on living with clarity and resolve. May your journey be steady and fulfilled. Have you ever felt like everything around you was collapsing, stress piling up, circumstances spiraling out of control, and no refuge in sight? It's easy to lose your sense of calm when life throws its hardest challenges at you. Yet Gautama Buddha and countless monks throughout history have shown that deep serenity is possible, even during the darkest hours. How do they remain centered amid chaos? In this guide, we'll explore Buddhist teachings and practical methods to help you tap into inner peace, no matter how dire the situation appears. Why peace can feel impossible in crisis. When intense difficulties strike, health crises, financial disasters, heartbreak, peace may seem like a distant dream. According to Buddhist teachings, this emotional turmoil often arises from attachment and aversion. We grasp desperately at what we cherish, fearing its loss, or push away what we perceive as threats, exacerbating our anxiety. Buddha observed that suffering, dukkha, becomes magnified when we cling to the idea that life must always be comfortable and predictable. Think about your own life. Do you equate peace with having everything just right? That expectation sets you up for disappointment the moment trouble appears. Instead, the monk's path is to accept that pain and uncertainty are part of existence. This doesn't mean resigning yourself to misery. It means recognizing that even if outer circumstances crumble, you can cultivate an inner resilience. Monastic practices are built on the belief that peace can flourish, even under difficult conditions. By shifting your mindset from rigid expectations to flexible acceptance, you begin to lay the foundation for enduring calm. Buddha's insight on impermanence. One of the Buddha's core teachings is anicca, the principle that everything is impermanent. Whether it's triumph or tragedy, joy or sorrow, nothing stays the same forever. Monks learn to see this truth as liberating rather than depressing. It means that no matter how painful a moment is, it's destined to change. When your world feels like it's collapsing, recalling impermanence can offer a surprising sense of relief. You realize that this hardship too will pass. Even the worst moments are transient, like clouds that eventually drift away. In daily life, you can anchor yourself in this understanding by reminding yourself, this situation is impermanent. It will not define me forever. Doing so strips away some of the hopelessness that arises when we believe our painful circumstances might last indefinitely. In practical terms, this doesn't imply denying your feelings or acting as though everything is fine. Rather, it encourages you to acknowledge the pain without letting it become the whole story. By embracing impermanence, you create emotional space for healing, solutions, and eventual change. It's a mindset that monks train in from the earliest days of monastic life. Nothing, not even deep suffering, is set in stone. Cultivating stillness through mindfulness. During the worst moments of life, say grieving a loss or grappling with unexpected calamities, your mind can become a whirlwind of fear and regret. Mindfulness, a practice at the heart of Buddhism, offers a path to stillness even when the storm feels most violent. Monks refine this skill through meditation, but you can apply it in everyday life without a monastery. Imagine sitting quietly and paying attention to each breath, feeling the gentle rise and fall of your chest. Even if waves of sorrow or panic threaten to pull you under, you let them come and go, anchored by the simple act of breathing. This mindfulness doesn't erase your troubles, but it prevents them from swallowing your awareness. You learn to witness intense emotions instead of being consumed by them. If formal meditation seems daunting, begin with short sessions, 2 to 5 minutes. Observe your breath, gently redirecting your focus whenever thoughts run wild. Over time, you'll find that these moments of calm become a refuge, allowing you to remain level-headed and compassionate toward yourself, even under extreme stress. In this sense, mindfulness becomes your inner lighthouse, guiding you through life's darkest nights. The middle way, avoiding extremes of despair and denial. Buddhism teaches the middle way, which emphasizes balance rather than swinging between extremes. In the face of hardship, some people collapse into despair, convinced nothing will ever improve. Others mask their pain with denial, pretending the issue doesn't exist. Both extremes can deepen suffering rather than relieve it. Monks approach crises with a mindset that acknowledges reality without surrendering to hopelessness. They neither wallow in negativity nor sugarcoat the truth. Instead, they ask questions like, what can I learn from this? How can I respond compassionately to myself and others? This balanced perspective prevents you from getting mired in victimhood or false optimism. In practical life, adopting the middle way might mean recognizing your anguish, letting yourself feel grief, frustration, or anger, while also staying open to the possibility of solutions or future recovery. You don't turn a blind eye to genuine problems, nor do you believe you're doomed forever. Such balance requires mindful awareness, gentle introspection, and self-compassion, all of which are monk-like qualities we can cultivate step by step. Non-resistance. Finding calm in acceptance. One critical lesson from Buddha's teachings is that resistance to what is often fuels distress. If you're fighting a reality you can't change, like a terminal diagnosis, a job loss, or a loved one's departure, you inadvertently lock yourself in a cycle of anguish. Monks learn non-resistance as an act of wisdom, acknowledging reality and then deciding how best to engage with it. Non-resistance isn't the same as passivity. You still take necessary actions to improve your situation, but you stop spending energy wishing the present moment were different. This shift frees mental and emotional resources you can use to navigate the crisis effectively. For instance, if you've lost your job, non-resistance might mean admitting your unemployment rather than denying it, then proactively seeking new opportunities or training. The key is dropping the heavy emotional baggage of, "This shouldn't be happening to me," and replacing it with a calm acceptance of, "This is happening. Now how shall I respond?" Ultimately, non-resistance enables a peaceful readiness to face challenges. By relinquishing futile struggles against reality, you open the door to constructive problem-solving. This approach echoes the monastic way: observe life's flow, accept it, and act wisely within that flow to minimize suffering. Compassion, the unlikely antidote to anguish. When life seems unbearably hard, compassion might be the last thing on your mind. Yet Buddha taught that compassion is a potent remedy for inner turmoil. Monks deeply integrate compassion into their daily routines, not just toward others, but also toward themselves. They see suffering as a universal human experience, something that connects us rather than isolates us. If you're consumed by your own troubles, reaching out to help someone else, even in a small way, can shift your perspective from "why me" to "we're all in this together." This doesn't trivialize your pain, rather, it reveals that empathy and kindness can alleviate it. Moreover, turning compassion inward, acknowledging your own vulnerability with gentleness, helps dissolve guilt or shame for feeling distressed. Instead of berating yourself for not being strong, you respond with self-kindness. Monks often practice metta, loving-kindness meditation, silently wishing happiness and peace for all beings, including themselves. You can adapt this by spending a few minutes each day offering compassionate thoughts to yourself. May I find peace. May I be safe. May I be free from suffering. Over time, this heartfelt empathy increases your capacity to remain at peace, even in circumstances that seem to crush the spirit. Practical exercises for peace in crisis. While the Buddhist principles above are powerful, putting them into action is what makes the difference. Consider these practical steps to maintain equanimity when crisis strikes. Start with grounding breath by taking slow, deep inhalations, counting each one up to 5, then doing the same with exhales. This simple routine activates your parasympathetic nervous system, easing panic or overwhelm. Next, practice naming emotions. Silently label what you're feeling: anger, fear, sorrow, without judging yourself. This mindful naming reduces the intensity of emotions. Then do one task at a time. In the thick of chaos, pick a single constructive activity, such as making an important phone call or tidying a small corner of your space, and give it your full attention. A small sense of accomplishment can break through paralysis. Consider reflective journaling to write down your thoughts, fears, and feelings. Monks often transcribe sutras. Similarly, journaling offers a reflective pause that clarifies tangled emotions. Lastly, take loving-kindness breaks whenever anxiety peaks. Pause for a quick metta meditation, silently repeating, "May I be peaceful, may I be well." This fosters immediate calm. Each exercise reinforces the monk-like mindset of clarity, presence, and compassion. Over time, these small interventions add up, transforming the way you navigate even the toughest situations. Moving forward with monastic calm. As you apply these Buddhist-inspired tools, remember that peace isn't a one-and-done achievement. It's a continual practice, nurtured every day, especially under adversity. Monks view each crisis as an opportunity to deepen their understanding of suffering and sharpen their compassion. You too can choose to grow from hardships rather than be broken by them. Part of moving forward peacefully is acknowledging that the journey won't always be smooth. Even seasoned monks admit moments of doubt or sadness. The difference is they recognize these feelings as part of the human tapestry, temporary waves, not everlasting truths. They return to the teachings, anchor themselves in mindfulness, and draw strength from the impermanence of all things. No matter how severe your storm, these principles offer a guiding light. Accept the now, ground yourself in compassion, and remember that what feels permanent is always shifting. With each practice, you inch closer to the calm, resilient core that monks embody. This inner sanctuary remains steady, a source of serenity that not even life's worst moments can dissolve. Staying peaceful in the worst moments may seem daunting, but Buddha's timeless wisdom shows it's within reach. Through mindfulness, non-resistance, compassion, and a gentle acceptance of impermanence, you can develop monk-like serenity, even when life feels overwhelming. Which practice will you start with today? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this helpful, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more insights on living with wisdom, resilience, and deep inner peace. May you find calm, even in life's fiercest storms. Have you ever wondered why Buddhist monks are up before the sun, quietly beginning their day while the rest of us keep hitting snooze? It's not just about discipline. It's deeply tied to centuries-old teachings going back to Gautama Buddha's insights on mindfulness and purposeful living. By embracing the stillness of dawn, monks set a calm, focused tone that sustains them all day. Curious about what's behind their early bird routine and how it could transform your own life? Let's explore the spiritual roots of rising early and uncover practical tips you can start using tomorrow. The spiritual roots of rising early. In Buddhist tradition, the morning is revered as a time of clarity and renewal. Gautama Buddha himself often meditated during the pre-dawn hours, when the world was at its quietest. According to monastic custom, waking up early isn't about forcing oneself to suffer, but rather about tapping into a period of natural stillness. At this hour, the distractions of daily life, the noise, the busyness, the obligations, haven't yet taken hold. Monks use this precious window to center their minds on teachings and self-reflection. This practice goes beyond mere habit. Many sutras and commentaries highlight the significance of dawn as a liminal space between darkness and light, mirroring the Buddhist journey from ignorance to enlightenment. In a sense, the early morning becomes a living metaphor for awakening. Monks approach the day's first moments with a sense of sacredness, conscious that how they begin their day often shapes how they'll engage with the challenges ahead. For them, rising early isn't just a routine, it's a spiritual anchor that grounds their study, meditation, and mindful work. In modern life, it can be tempting to see early wake-ups as an outdated relic. Yet when you appreciate their deeper purpose, cultivating mental clarity, reverence, and a mindful approach, you begin to see how adopting an earlier schedule might nourish your own spiritual or personal growth, even if you're not a monk. The role of mindfulness in early mornings. Monks aren't just trying to squeeze more hours out of the day. Their real objective is to align themselves with mindfulness at a time when the mind is most receptive. Buddha taught that a calm, alert mind is essential for progress on the path to enlightenment. Early mornings naturally support this calmness. The world is quieter and distractions are minimal, so the mind is less likely to be pulled in a dozen directions. By rising before dawn, monks can greet the day with deliberate, unhurried awareness. They begin by taking slow, measured breaths or offering a brief gratitude meditation. This moment sets the mental tone, preventing them from rushing headlong into tasks. Instead, they move with intention, whether they're lighting a candle in the meditation hall or reciting morning sutras. This thorough presence ensures that each action, each step taken in the stillness, deepens their connection to the moment. You can adapt the same practice by carving out 10 or 15 minutes upon waking. Rather than checking your phone or diving into urgent matters, try sitting quietly. Notice how your body feels. Observe the quality of your thoughts. Are they already swarming with to-dos, or can you guide them toward calm reflection? This simple shift can help you harness the natural clarity of morning time, bringing mindfulness into the core of your daily rhythm. Setting intention at dawn. One of the reasons monks wake up early is to set a clear intention for the day, guided by Buddha's teachings on right effort and right mindfulness. Before chores or morning duties begin, they often pause to reflect on how they wish to approach their responsibilities. personal interactions, and spiritual practice. It's a brief but powerful ceremony, sometimes taking the form of a silent vow or short prayer that cements their aspiration for the coming hours. This focus on intention is more than just a motivational trick. It's rooted in the Buddhist understanding that our mindset shapes our actions, and our actions shape our destiny. By consciously deciding, "I will act today with kindness and attention," monks redirect the habitual patterns that might otherwise lead them astray. They're effectively training the mind to filter every subsequent choice through a lens of compassion and discipline. In a modern context, you can replicate this by writing down or mentally affirming 1 or 2 intentions when you rise. Maybe it's a vow to handle stress more calmly or to prioritize compassion in every interaction. This doesn't require a monastery or special tools, just a willingness to begin your day with purposeful clarity. Over time, the habit of early intention setting can shift how you respond to setbacks and opportunities, infusing even mundane tasks with a deeper sense of purpose. The energy of sunrise, why it matters. In Buddhism, nature is often seen as a teacher of impermanence and interconnectedness. Sunrise exemplifies these truths. The darkness recedes, revealing a fresh start each day. Monks learn to watch the rising sun not just for its beauty, but for its symbolic reminders. Dawn light is gentle yet steadfast, offering an external representation of the inner light of awareness that Buddhists aim to cultivate. Physically, the early hours can also boost energy and alertness. Research suggests that exposing yourself to sunlight soon after waking helps regulate your circadian rhythm. This natural cue aligns your sleep-wake cycle more closely with day and night, improving sleep quality and daytime focus. Monks, who often lead physically demanding routines, sweeping courtyards, harvesting produce, or cooking communal meals, benefit from this alignment. Their energy isn't forced. It flows from living in sync with natural light. From a spiritual angle, sunrise is a reminder of each new day's potential. Buddha taught that every moment of consciousness is an opportunity to wake up from mental slumber. Watching daylight break offers a quiet sense of renewal, a chance to leave behind yesterday's regrets and approach the new day unburdened. Even if you live in a bustling city, taking a moment to appreciate the morning sky can deepen your sense of connection to the world and invigorate your spirit before obligations take hold. Overcoming obstacles to waking up early. Of course, not everyone jumps out of bed at dawn with a smile. Monks face hurdles too: fatigue, weather, the lure of just a few more minutes of sleep. The difference is they employ strategies grounded in Buddhist discipline to overcome these challenges. One such strategy is consistency. Monks typically follow a strict daily schedule, which trains the mind and body to expect an early rise. Over time, this rhythm becomes second nature. Another method is reminding themselves of why they wake early. Whether it's to meditate, chant sutras, or prepare community meals, their morning has a clear purpose that transcends personal convenience. This sense of higher duty inspires them when comfort beckons. Buddha's teachings on right intention play a role here, ensuring that each morning's routine isn't just a chore, but a meaningful step in spiritual growth. For you, addressing obstacles might mean going to bed at a consistent hour or cutting back on late-night screen time that disrupts sleep. It could also mean placing your alarm across the room so you have to physically get up to switch it off, breaking the habit of hitting snooze repeatedly. Another trick is to plan a small yet meaningful morning ritual, like 5 minutes of quiet reflection or gratitude, that gives you a genuine reason to step out of bed. By tackling the physical and mental barriers, you align yourself with the monastic principle of making space for what truly matters, creating a gentle morning ritual. Once you're up, how you spend the first few moments can make or break your day. Monks often begin with brief meditation or chanting, actions that immediately orient their minds toward mindfulness and devotion. You can design a simpler version at home. Maybe it's lighting a small candle, sipping a cup of tea mindfully, or reading an uplifting verse from a favorite text. The key is to approach these acts with full awareness, not rushing through them or treating them like mere items on a checklist. Another aspect is minimal sensory input. Monks typically keep their living quarters uncluttered, which helps maintain a calm mental environment. If your morning ritual includes grabbing your phone to check emails or social media, you're basically inviting clutter into your mind. Instead, try delaying phone use by 10 or 15 minutes, allowing yourself a pocket of silence to settle into your day. Buddha often spoke of precepts, guidelines that protect peace and clarity. Think of your ritual as a personal precept, a short, consistent framework that defends your morning calm. It could include journaling a few lines about your emotional state, reciting a compassionate intention, and stretching lightly to connect with your body. Over time, this gentle start becomes a familiar refuge, a small but significant daily anchor that supports you through life's chaos. How consistency builds self-discipline. Self-discipline is at the heart of monastic life, and it's arguably the greatest benefit of rising early. Buddha's path to enlightenment involved constant diligence, repeated efforts at meditation, moral restraint, and compassionate action. In the same vein, monks rely on the consistency of their schedule to fortify discipline. Waking up at the same time each day trains the mind to accept certain routines without negotiation. Why does this matter for you? Consistency removes the daily debate of whether or not to roll out of bed. Instead of grappling with that question, you free mental energy for more worthwhile tasks, like focusing on a creative project, engaging in mindful prayer, or taking a serene morning walk. Over time, each day's early rising accumulates into a powerful habit, one that fosters resilience and a sense of groundedness. Consistency also helps you see progress in other areas of life. Maybe your thoughts become clearer or your stress levels gradually decrease. You might notice you're less reactive to midday frustrations simply because you've had a calm start. This steady improvement fuels motivation, making it easier to stick with your early routine. As Buddha taught, small, consistent actions aligned with right intention eventually lead to profound transformation. Waking up early is just one example of how deliberate practice shapes both inner peace and outward success, harmonizing monastic insight with modern life. You might wonder how a monastic schedule fits into modern responsibilities like commutes, family obligations, or late-night work shifts. The answer is to adapt rather than copy. Monks demonstrate the principles, but each person can tailor them. Perhaps you can't wake up at 4 a.m. daily, but you can aim for 30 minutes earlier than your usual time. Or maybe your morning includes preparing lunch boxes for kids, so weave a mindful moment into that routine, breathing calmly as you pack each container. Buddha's teachings emphasize the middle way, a balanced approach that avoids extremes. You don't need to become a hermit to benefit from rising earlier. Instead, pick a manageable target, stick to it for at least a couple of weeks, and observe how your body and mind respond. If you find yourself rejuvenated, keep fine-tuning your routine. Maybe add a quick meditation or a short reading from a Buddhist text to enrich your morning. Ultimately, it's not about imitating a monk's life in full, but about integrating those timeless lessons on discipline, mindfulness, and compassion into your unique circumstances. Even a slightly earlier start can yield surprising calm, clarity, and a renewed sense of control over your day. It's a simple shift with potentially profound outcomes, one that resonates with the Buddha's core message. Each day is a new dawn for self-discovery and purposeful living. Waking up early doesn't have to be grueling. When inspired by Buddha's wisdom and monastic practices, it can become a path to greater clarity and peace. By greeting the day in stillness, you align with nature's rhythms and set a mindful tone that carries you forward. Which tip resonated with you most? Let us know in the comments, and like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more insights on living with balance and intentionality. May each morning bring you closer to the calm and focus you seek.